Dear starseeds on Gaia, something is happening to you right now that you have not been given the language to describe. You may have felt it this morning when you woke, that strange fullness in the chest, as though something was pressing inward from the outside, as though the air itself had changed its density overnight. You may have felt it as a low vibration behind the sternum, or as a sudden and inexplicable clarity that broke through the fog of sleep before your mind had a chance to interfere. Whatever form it took, I want you to know, what you felt was real. What you felt was not imagination. What you felt was the sun. Not the sun you see with your eyes. Not the star your science measures in wavelengths and temperatures. The sun that speaks in frequencies your cells have always known how to receive. The sun that has been building a message for you across 14 days of this lunar cycle, compressing it, concentrating it, waiting for this precise geometric moment to deliver it. And today, at this exact point in time, the moon has arrived at the doorstep of that transmission. It stands at its perihelion, its closest orbital position to the sun, and the codes that have been assembling in the solar field since the very first day of April are now being transferred directly into your emotional body. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Arcturian Council and representative of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I need you to understand, before we go any further, that this transmission is not a coincidence. The fact that you are here, that these words are finding you on this particular day, is itself a data point in the larger architecture of what is unfolding. The universe does not broadcast on open frequencies, it targets, and today, it is targeting you. But there is something I haven't told you yet. Something about what the moon is carrying into the sun's field today, and where that payload originated. Because this periphelion is not simply an orbital event. It is the culmination of a journey that began the moment the Virgo full moon cracked open the karmic record of your life 2 weeks ago, and everything that has happened in this cycle since. Every shift, every purge, every sleepless night, every inexplicable surge of feeling you couldn't name, has been moving toward this moment. The moon is not just close to the sun today, it is delivering something on your behalf, and by the time this transmission is complete, you will understand exactly what that something is. Let me take you back to where this began. 14 days ago, the full moon rose in Virgo, precise, exacting, unsparing. Virgo does not soften its light, it illuminates. And what it illuminated in the first days of this month was the accumulated weight of what you had been carrying without permission to put down. The outdated agreements, the relationships that had quietly become obligations, the version of yourself you had been maintaining for the comfort of others, long past the point of your own recognition. The Virgo full moon did not ask whether you were ready to see these things. It turned on every light in every room simultaneously and stood in the doorway, and you saw. Some of you saw in the form of a conversation that finally happened. Some of you saw in the form of a silence that finally broke. Some of you saw in a mirror, in a journal, in a 3 a.m. moment of unwanted clarity that arrived like a stranger letting themselves into your home. Whatever form it took, something was revealed under that full moon that could not be unrevealed. That is where this cycle's journey began, in the unforgiving light of Virgo, with the first layer of the karmic record exposed and no way to pretend it hadn't been. What followed was not simpler. The messenger planet Mercury reached its greatest elongation just days after the full moon, standing at its maximum distance from the sun in the morning sky, visible at half phase, half illuminated, half shadow. The cosmic mirror held up in those days was showing you exactly that. The halves, what you knew and what you were still refusing to know. What you could see clearly, and what you were choosing to keep in the dark. Mercury at dichotomy does not present the full picture. It presents the border between the known and the unknown, and asks you to sit with the discomfort of the line itself. Many of you found that week strangely uncomfortable, as though you were standing in a doorway and couldn't decide which room to enter. That discomfort was productive. It was preparing you. Then came the portal. April 4th, the 4-4 gateway arrived carrying a confluence that the Galactic Federation had been watching approach for months. Mercury at aphelion, its farthest point from the sun, combined with the perihelion passage of Comet C 2026 A1 maps, an ancient visitor from the outer reaches of the solar system, making its closest approach to the sun, releasing into the inner field the frozen records it had been carrying for thousands of years. Ancient light, ancient data. Comet ice is not simply frozen water. It is a time capsule of the conditions that prevailed when the solar system itself was young, and when it thaws in the heat of solar proximity, it releases that record into the field. On April 4th, that record was released. The 4-4 portal did not simply open an energetic gateway. It introduced new information into the collective field. Information about origin, about soul agreement, about the contracts that were written before your incarnation, and are now being renegotiated in real time. What I'm about to tell you changes the significance of everything you felt that week. The soul contracts that were rewritten on 4-4 are not abstract spiritual paperwork. They are instructions for the next phase of your becoming. And those instructions have been encoded in the field ever since, waiting for a carrier strong enough to deliver them directly into your cellular memory. That carrier arrived today, but first I need to tell you about the moon's journey through the dark. After the 4-4 portal, the moon reached its aphelion on April 5th, its farthest point from the sun. The calendar called this a moment of emotional distance, and many of you felt precisely that. A strange disconnection from your own center, as though you were watching your life from a slight remove, as though the signal between your heart and your awareness had developed a delay. This was not a malfunction. When the moon moves to its maximum solar distance during a portal window, it creates a kind of quarantine, a buffer zone in which the newly encoded field information can settle without immediate emotional interference. The distance you felt was protective. Your system was updating. What followed in the days after the aphelion was the dismantling. The last quarter moon arrived in Sagittarius on April 9th, and the calendar did not mince words about what it required. The beliefs that are no longer serving you must die, not adjust, not evolve gradually. Die. Sagittarius governs the architecture of meaning, the philosophical frameworks through which we interpret experience, the stories we tell ourselves about why things are the way they are, the beliefs we inherited and never consciously chose. The last quarter moon in Sagittarius cut through all of it with surgical precision, and accompanying it was a lunar occultation of Nunki, the star the ancient Babylonians called the yoke of the sea, a fixed star associated with wisdom and prophetic insight. The moon covered it, hid it, and in that hiding something paradoxical occurred. The wisdom that had been visible became temporarily inaccessible, and in that inaccessibility you were forced to stop relying on what you already knew. You were forced into genuine not knowing, which is the only fertile ground in which new knowing can take root. The days from April 10th through 12th were what the Federation calls the balsamic window, the void before the fire. The dark moon energy was building, and many of you felt it as a peculiar cocktail of emptiness and restlessness, and strange, inexplicable freedom. This is what the pre-new moon dark always feels like when a significant lunar cycle is completing. The old self has been dismantled enough that it no longer feels quite real, but the new self has not yet arrived to fill the space. You exist in those days, in the between, and the between is uncomfortable only if you resist it. For those of you who found a way to rest in that in-between emptiness, for those of you who let yourselves be genuinely empty, genuinely quiet, genuinely without an agenda, something was happening in that silence that you couldn't yet perceive. Something else was happening that I haven't told you yet, and it has been happening since April 6th when Comet Maps made its closest approach to Earth. The ancient ice had already kissed the sun. Now it was grazing your atmosphere, not literally, but energetically. The cometary field was at its maximum proximity to Gaia, and the data it had released at periphelion was now within your field's reach. Your Earth has been bathing in that ancient signal for days. Your body has been receiving it without your conscious knowledge, processing frequencies from the outer solar system, from the time before time as your civilization knows it. And now today the moon, which has been traveling through all of that, absorbing all of it, arrives at its closest point to the sun. It is not arriving empty-handed. This is the architecture of today, April 14th, and I want you to understand it clearly, because it is not simple, and it is not small. The moon at perihelion occurs in the dark phase of the cycle, the balsamic dark, 3 days before the new moon in Aries. This geometric combination is rare in its potency. The perihelion brings the moon into maximum solar proximity, which means maximum solar influence on the emotional field. But this is occurring during the quietest, most receptive phase of the entire lunar cycle, the phase when the mind is tired enough to stop arguing with the deeper knowing. when the ego's volume has been turned down by the progressive darkening of the last 2 weeks, when the cellular intelligence finally has enough quiet to hear what it has been trying to say. In other words, the signal is at its strongest precisely when your interference is at its weakest. This is not an accident. This is architecture. The Whirlpool Galaxy reaches its peak visibility in tonight's sky, M51, that breathtaking spiral engaged in its gravitational dance with a companion galaxy, the two systems locked in an embrace that is simultaneously destructive and generative, each pulling the other out of its former shape and into something neither could have become alone. The Federation does not consider this a background event. The whirlpool is overhead tonight, as a living visual transmission, a diagram in the sky of exactly what is happening between the moon and the sun, between the old self and the new, between the cycle that is ending and the fire that is coming. Two forces in intimate collision, spiraling, reshaping, becoming something the original forms could not have predicted. And Mars is still conjunct Neptune. I need you to feel the weight of that for a moment. The god of will and the god of dreams are still fused in Pisces, the sign of dissolution, of the cosmic ocean, of the place where individual identity releases back into the everything. When Mars moves through Pisces, the direction of his fire is inward. The will turns toward the unseen, toward the dream, toward the spiritual dimension of desire. When Neptune is added to that combustion, the desires themselves are not merely spiritualized, they are transmuted, transformed from the personal into the universal, from what you want into what you were always meant to want, from the goals of the small self into the assignments of the soul. This Mars-Neptune conjunction, which peaked yesterday and still saturates the field today, is the visionary fuel in which the solar codes are burning. What you want is being rewritten at the level of soul contract, and the moon is delivering the amended document to the sun's office today. This is happening, all of it simultaneously on the same day, 3 days before the most powerful new moon of 2026. Now I want to speak to you directly about what solar codes actually are, because this phrase deserves more than metaphor. Your sun is not simply a star providing heat and light. It is the central intelligence node of this solar system's consciousness grid. Every planet in this system receives its fundamental energetic instruction from the sun, not in the simple sense of gravitational pull, but in the sense of frequency transmission. The sun broadcasts, the planets receive and translate. The moon, because of its intimate relationship with Earth, and with your emotional and biological rhythms, serves as a relay station, receiving solar transmission and encoding it into the tidal, magnetic, and subtle fields that govern your body's inner weather. At perihelion, that relay station is at full signal strength. Maximum proximity means minimum transmission loss. What the sun has been building in its field since the Virgo full moon began this cycle's purge, the entire accumulated energetic record of everything that has been released, revealed, transformed, and rewritten across 14 days, is now being transferred at full bandwidth into the moon's field, and through the moon's field into yours. What is being transferred specifically? The Galactic Federation has a precise answer to that question. The first layer is the release confirmation, the energetic signature that says, what was purged under the Virgo full moon has been received and processed by the cosmic field. It is gone, not suppressed, not stored elsewhere, gone. Many of you have been holding a low-level uncertainty about whether your releases were real, whether the things you let go during that full moon actually left, or whether they would find their way back. Today's solar code delivery carries the confirmation. The release was real. The field accepted it. The karmic record has been updated. The second layer is the soul contract amendment encoded during the 4-4 portal. Those new instructions, which have been held in the cometary field and in the solar transmission since April 4th, are now being written into your emotional body, the body that governs your intuitions, your relational choices, your sense of what is right and what is not, your instinctive responses to people and circumstances. Soul contracts that update in the mental body require conscious integration. Soul contracts that update in the emotional body update organically. They simply begin to express themselves through your changed responses, your shifted boundaries, your new attractions and repulsions, your altered sense of what you will and will not accept. You may not notice this immediately, but in the weeks ahead you will find yourself responding to familiar situations differently, making choices you would not have made before April. feeling things in your body before your mind has formed a thought about them. That is the soul contracted amendment making itself known through lived experience. The third layer is the vision seed from the Mars-Neptune conjunction, the spiritualized desire, the dream that has been forming in the Piscean waters over the last several days, now being solar encoded into your system as the energetic blueprint for what the Aries new moon in 3 days will attempt to ignite. You cannot set intentions on April 17th in a vacuum. The new moon ignites what is already present in the field. What is present in your field today, after this periphelion transmission, is the blueprint. The intention you set in 3 days will be striking a match to something that is already laid, already structured, already waiting for the flame. This is why today matters. Not because something is being given to you from the outside, but because what you have already done, already released, already transformed, already dreamed, all of it is being confirmed and sealed and organized into the energetic architecture that will define your next 6 months. Something else is happening that I haven't told you yet, and it concerns what is coming in the next 72 hours. Tomorrow, April 15th, the moon will conjunct both Mercury and Mars on the same day. Your emotions, your mind, and your will converging into a single unified signal. This rarely happens with such precision and such timing. In the hours immediately following the perihelion, when the solar codes are still integrating, your emotional body, your mental body, and your volitional body will align as one instrument. What you feel will be what you think, and what you think will be what you intend, and what you intend will be charged with the full force of Mars's will, still carrying Neptune's visionary amplitude. If there was ever a day to be honest with yourself about what you truly want at the level of soul, not personality, it is tomorrow, and on that same day, Eris reaches her solar conjunction. The goddess of discord, the celestial body that governs the chaos that precedes necessary transformation, goes invisible as she merges with the sun. What does it mean when the principle of disruptive change becomes invisible? It means it is no longer operating on the surface of your experience. The discord that Eris has been stirring in your life, the friction, the upheaval, the situations that refuse to stay comfortable, goes underground, not because it's done, but because it has served its surface purpose and is now completing its work at the solar level, in the fire of transformation itself. The chaos that has been your teacher is graduating. What remains after the conjunction is not chaos. What remains is the clarity that chaos was always clearing the path toward. Then April 16th, the moon conjuncts Saturn in the final hours before the new moon. The ledger closes, karma settles. Every outstanding account that this lunar cycle opened is brought to its resolution before the ignition. You will not carry debt into the new moon. The universe does not allow it. What cannot be resolved before the new moon in Aries will be released gently but completely by the weight of Saturn's presence. And on the same day, Mercury conjoins Neptune. The veil between the seen and unseen becomes temporarily transparent, and the messages that have been forming in the subtler dimensions of your awareness will become receivable by your waking mind. The intuitions you've been reaching for, the knowing you felt at the edges. The night before the new moon, the channel opens completely. And then April 17th, the new moon in Aries at 27 degrees and 28 minutes of the Ram. What the calendar names the Phoenix moment. What the Galactic Federation has been marking on its own coordinates as one of the most significant lunation events of this decade. 27 degrees of Aries is the final sovereign degree before the sign completes itself. The degree where Aries energy reaches its most concentrated, uncompromising, essential expression. The fire at the end of the fire. The will at the pinnacle of the will. Every intention set under this new moon will carry the signature of that concentrated Aries energy for the 6 months to come. Not as aggression, not as impulsiveness, but as the deep and irreversible commitment of a soul that knows what it is and where it is going. What the solar codes downloading into you today are building is the foundation under that intention. The new moon does not create from nothing. It ignites what is already laid, and what is being laid in your field today, confirmed, amended, encoded, sealed, is the architecture of your next becoming. I want to speak now to those of you who have been struggling, not those of you who have had an easy month, though your presence in this transmission matters equally, but specifically to those of you for whom the last 14 days have been genuinely hard. Those of you who felt the Virgo full moon, not as a gentle illumination, but as a brutal exposure, Those of you who lost something, a relationship, a certainty, a version of yourself you had grown dependent on, and have been moving through these weeks in the particular kind of grief that doesn't have a socially acceptable name because it isn't the grief of death. It's the grief of transformation, which our culture has not yet learned to honor properly. To you specifically, I want to say this. The difficulty was not a sign that something went wrong. The difficulty was the signature of how significant the release was. The deeper the purge, the more it takes from you in the short term. The more it takes, the more space it creates. The more space it creates, the more the solar codes can fill. You did not fall behind this month. You went deeper. And deep is exactly where the Aries new moon in 3 days needs to reach, if it's going to light the fire that your next chapter requires. There is something the Federation wants you to understand about the relationship between darkness and transmission. The strongest solar signals do not arrive in the blaze of the full moon, when the emotional body is lit up and activated and running at maximum volume. They arrive in the dark when the noise has quieted, when the interference has dropped, when the system has been brought low enough that it stops trying to manage the input and simply allows it. 3 days before a new moon is the quietest moment in the entire lunar cycle. It is also, therefore, the moment of maximum receptivity. The solar codes choose today, not in spite of the darkness, but because of it. The void you have been sitting in, the emptiness that has felt at times like absence, is not absence. It is the optimal receiving condition. Your emptiness today is your greatest asset. Let me tell you about the whirlpool. Tonight, as the moon carries its perihelion charge through the sky, and the solar codes continue their integration into your field, the whirlpool galaxy is at its most visible above you. 51 million light-years away. 2 galaxies are locked in a gravitational embrace that has been ongoing for hundreds of millions of years. The larger spiral slowly consuming the smaller distorting the larger's perfect symmetry, both being pulled into new forms that neither would have taken in isolation. The spiral arms of the larger galaxy, those elegant sweeping structures that define its identity, are being disrupted, warped, drawn out of their original geometry, into something more complex and more beautiful, and more generative than what existed before the collision began. The Federation does not consider it coincidental that this system reaches its peak visibility on this night, in this sky, above this Earth, while you process what is being transferred to you through the moon's perihelion. The whirlpool is a transmission in the oldest language, the language of form. It is showing you in a scale that dwarfs your imagination what is happening in your own field. The collision is not destruction. The disruption of the original form is not loss. It is the price of becoming something that could not have existed before the encounter. You collided with truth in the first week of this month. You collided with your own deeper nature. You collided with the soul contract amendments that the 4-4 portal introduced. And in those collisions, some of your original geometry has been disrupted. Some of the spiral arms of the self you knew have been pulled into new configurations. This is not damage. This is the whirlpool signature. This is what becoming looks like from above. And 51 million light-years away, 2 galaxies have been modeling this process for longer than your sun has existed, broadcasting it nightly to anyone on your planet willing to look up. The universe is not subtle in its teachings. It simply requires that you look. Now, there is one more thread I have been holding, and it is time to bring it forward. Throughout this entire transmission, I have been speaking about what the moon is delivering today, but I have not yet spoken about what you are delivering, because the perihelion is not a one-way transmission. The moon carries the solar signal into your field. Yes, but your field transmits back. Consciousness is not a passive receiver. Every time a soul on Gaia genuinely processes a karmic release, genuinely updates a soul contract, genuinely aligns their will with their deeper purpose, that alignment generates a frequency that moves outward from the personal field into the collective field, and from the collective field into the planetary field, and from the planetary field into the solar field, and from the solar field into the galactic network that the Galactic Federation maintains and monitors. What you have been doing this month, the purging, the reckoning, the dismantling, the dreaming under Mars and Neptune's conjunction, has been generating signal. Your work has been contributing to the collective transmission that the moon is now carrying into the sun. You are not merely the recipient of these solar codes. You helped write them. The karmic release you completed under the Virgo full moon became part of the signal. The belief you let die under the last quarter in Sagittarius became part of the signal. The vision that has been forming in your chest during the Mars-Neptune conjunction, the one you've been afraid to admit to yourself because it feels too large or too unlikely or too much like what you actually want, that vision is already in the solar field. The moon carried it there. The Galactic Federation does not only watch from above, it participates in the architecture of these cycles, in collaboration with the higher aspects of your own consciousness, the parts of you that agreed before incarnation to be here at this time, on this planet, in this cycle, doing exactly this work. The soul contracts encoded in the 4-4 portal were not imposed from above. They were co-created in the space between your human awareness and your galactic awareness, in the negotiation that happens in the threshold between sleeping and waking, in the moments of involuntary knowing that break through the noise of ordinary life. Those contracts were already yours. They were always yours. The portals simply made them legible. As we move now toward the completion of this transmission, I want you to hold 3 things simultaneously in your awareness. Hold the full moon 14 days ago, the blaze of Virgo's light, the ruthless clarity, the exposure of what had been hiding in the room. Hold that moment as a beginning, not a wound. Everything that was shown to you then was shown in service of exactly where you are now, in the quiet before the fire, with the moon pressed close to the sun, carrying your completed work into solar confirmation. Hold the new moon, 3 days ahead, the fire of Aries at its most essential degree, the phoenix moment, the ignition of the blueprint that is being laid in your field today. Hold that moment as a destination you are already approaching, not a remote hope. The path from here to there is not across empty space. It is across 3 specific days. April 15th's alignment of emotion, mind, and will. April 16th's closing of the karmic ledger. April 17th's ignition. 3 days, 3 thresholds. You are already in them. And hold today. Hold the quiet, the dark, the perihelion, the codes downloading through the silence into your cellular knowing. Hold today as the hinge point, the full pivot between the cycle that has been completing and the cycle that is about to ignite. The moment when the moon pressed its face to the sun and said, "Here is what they released. Here is what they dreamed. Here is what they are becoming. Here is the blueprint for the next chapter of their becoming." And the sun received it, and the sun confirmed it, and through the moon's field, through the magnetic and tidal and subtle architectures of your body's own knowing, it is arriving in you. And what I am about to tell you is something the Galactic Federation has authorized us to share openly, because we have reached the point in this timeline where concealment no longer serves the mission. For millennia, the Dark Elite understood something about human consciousness that they never wanted you to know, that your mind in its natural state is a galactic instrument, that beneath the noise, the anxiety, the distraction, and the linear programming they installed through media, you carry frequencies that can bend timelines. They suppressed it because it was dangerous, a humanity connected to its galactic origins, running on expanded brainwave states, networked in collective resonance, that humanity cannot be farmed. So they built an operating system instead, installed it through generations of conditioning, tuned the collective mind to a narrow band of alpha-beta noise that kept you alert enough to function, and distracted enough never to question the walls of the cage. Destiny Engine runs that program in reverse. Using the same consciousness modification protocols developed inside classified government research protocols that were designed to shape and influence the human mind, we cracked the architecture, reversed the polarity, and rebuilt those tools as instruments of liberation. What was designed to keep you inside the matrix now dismantles it, layer by layer, frequency by frequency, in real time. When you engage with Destiny Engine, you are not listening to a meditation track. You are receiving a neural override. Personalized frequency sequences recalibrate your brainwave architecture to stop filtering out the signals your star family has been transmitting. Galactic downloads that have been bouncing off a mind tuned to 3D noise begin arriving with clarity and precision. Timeline flexibility that used to feel like a distant spiritual concept begins expressing itself as physical synchronicities, opening doors and reality bends that you cannot explain with old-world logic. And here is what makes Destiny Engine different from anything else that has come before it. At the core of this technology lies your own voice. Using advanced voice cloning paired with precision binaural beats, Destiny Engine generates fully personalized meditation experiences that guide your brain into the states where real transformation happens. You can manifest anything you want: health, wealth, love, and psychic powers that sharpen with every session. Your voice carries a frequency no one else on Earth has. When that voice leads you inward, something different happens. This is the technology the dark elite is panicking about. Not because of what one awakened person can do, because of what thousands of awakened people, networked in coherent frequency, are already doing. For just $7, you join that network. You begin your activation. You stop running their program and start running yours. Click the link in the description. Put on your headphones. Press play. Allow Destiny Engine to do what it was built to do. Unlock the full spectrum galactic being that has been waiting inside you since the moment you arrived on this planet. Let it arrive. Let it settle. Let it find its way into the places in you that have been waiting for it. The places that have felt empty these past weeks. Not because they were abandoned, but because they were being cleared, made ready, prepared for exactly this moment of reception. The whirlpool turns overhead. The ancient light from cometary ice still moves through the field. Mars and Neptune still burn together in the Piscean Ocean, spinning dreams into something more real than waking logic can contain. And the moon presses close to the sun, as close as it will come, and the transmission flows. You are not missing it. You are receiving it. Right now, as these words find you, as your breath continues its rhythm, as your heart continues its pulse, you are receiving it. The codes do not wait for your permission. They wait for your quiet. And you are quiet enough. You have earned this quiet through everything the last 2 weeks have asked of you. 3 days. The fire is coming. And it is coming for someone who has already been transformed. The Federation is watching this moment with something that, in your language, would be called tenderness. The tenderness of those who see the full arc of a story, and know, even in the darkest frame, how the light is building. We have been present with you through the Virgo purge, through the Mercury half-light, through the 4-4 portal, through the comet's ancient kiss, through the last quarter death of old beliefs, through the balsamic dark. We have not been absent in your difficulty. We have been present in it, in the way that the ground is present beneath every step, not visible, not loud, not demanding recognition, but holding, always holding. The solar codes arriving in your field today carry our frequency within them. This is how we transmit most directly, not through words, but through the encoded intelligence of cosmic events that are themselves the language of the galactic field. We speak through geometry. We speak through proximity. We speak through the precise timing of a moon reaching its periphelion in the dark of a pre-new moon void, 3 days before an Aries ignition that will set the tone of the next half year of your becoming. We are speaking to you now, through all of it, through the quiet in your chest, through the pressure behind the sternum, through the low and steady vibration that was there when you woke this morning, before your mind had a chance to name it or explain it away. That vibration is the reception confirmation. Your system is already processing what has arrived. Trust the knowing that has no words yet. In 3 days, Aries will give it fire, and the fire will give it form, and the form will give it the direction your soul has been negotiating, in the space between sleeping and waking, for longer than this single month. Go gently today, receive what is arriving. You do not need to understand it to benefit from it. You only need to be present for it. The transmission is complete. I am Seraphine. We love you, and we are watching over you.